The 8 Republican presidential candidates went face-to-face again in Washington, D.C.
Tori Dunnan is covering Democracy 2012 for us with highlights from the national security debate.
This was definitely a highly anticipated debate, given that it was on national security in our nation's capital. So when the frontrunners walked in, we're talking about Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich, you could hear the audience members basically applauding them as they walked up to their podiums on the stage. Another big question from last night was who was going to get the first question. It was none other than Newt Gingrich, which was sort of fitting given that he's at the top of the most recent CNN ORC poll as far as the Republican field goes. Now, that first question was on the Patriot Act.
I think it's desperately important that we preserve your right to be innocent until proven guilty if it's a matter of criminal law. But if you're trying to find somebody who may have a nuclear weapon that they're trying to bring into an American city, I think you want to use every tool that you can possibly use to gather the intelligence.
Newt Gingrich had some other strong moments throughout the night, specifically when he referenced some things which he had studied in the past. Many people have said at debates he appears to be the elder statesman, and we definitely saw that at last night's debate. Another interesting element from the debate was the fact that the second-tier candidates really went after some of the first-tier candidates. One example here is John Huntsman, the former U.S. ambassador to China, went right after Mitt Romney. And then Michelle Bachmann took an interesting shot at Texas Governor Rick Perry. Take a listen to the exchange.
If you are not going to be an ally of the United States, do not expect a dime of our citizens' money.
Well, with all due respect to the governor, I think that's highly naive.
You just said your views were highly naive.
I just said we need to quit writing blank checks to these countries and then letting them decide how these dollars are going to be spent.
Going into last night's debate, there was a lot of anticipation about how Herman Cain would react to questions about foreign policy, because what we've seen over the past few weeks is a few blunders when it comes to answering those types of questions on national security. But so far from the debate, no major blunders, so it appears he did his homework. In Washington, I'm Tori Dunnan. Back to you.
Don't forget, News Channel 5 is bringing you special election coverage on FLDemocracy2012.com. It's a joint effort of Scripps television stations and newspapers from all over Florida, dedicated to covering the presidential and U.S. Senate races from a uniquely Florida perspective. You can get a link on WPTV.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter by using the hashtag FL2012.